As young girls, we grow up believing all sorts of myriad of things, fairy tales, that one day Romeo will come and take us away and we will build a castle with him and live happily ever after. And very often when we grow up, we realize that, there's a challenge. Romeo isn't actually Romeo. Romeo comes up with all sorts of challenges and flaws. And we marry him. He doesn't look like anything that we thought he would be. And eventually we have children. And eventually comes a day when we have to say goodbye to Romeo. And our lives very different to what we thought it would be. Today I'm talking about single parenthood. I have my friend here, Robyn, Newel, to talk to me about single parenthood, the journey to being a mother, hopeful, and then finding yourself one day alone. Robyn, hi.
Hi,
welcome.
Bridget, thank you.
Yes, and thank you for agreeing to talk to us today.
It's only a pleasure.
Yes. I'd like for you to introduce yourself, how many kids you have and all of that.
Okay, so I'm Robyn, Robyn Newel. I got married in 95, also met my Romeo. Got 3 kids from him, 3 teenagers, in fact 14-year-old Lane, 17-year-old Tahila, and a 21-year-old Caleb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you just still look so beautiful and young.
Thank you.
And when did you meet your Romeo and how long were you married for?
We met each other in 92. We were married for 17 years.
Wow.
Got married in 95 in Natal. Relocated to Johannesburg in 99. And yeah.
I can only imagine the excitement of being young. I mean, it's such a long time ago. So the excitement of being young and finding your Romeo, starting out new, and I imagine he was dashing.
Yeah.
And so you thought, here comes my castle.
It was very exciting in the beginning. I mean, it was a dream come true. He was my Prince Charming, he was my everything. Very in love. In fact, you know what, we lived on love and fresh air for most part of the first 7 years of our relationship. And when our kids came into our lives, it was also just marvelous.
Wow. Did you experience what they traditionally call a 7-year itch?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What does that look like? What is that?
That was a painful experience.
Exactly on 7 years?
Exactly on 7 years. In fact, it was in 2002. We got married in 95, so 2002 my last daughter was born. And straight after the birth of my daughter, I discovered that he had met somebody else and was in a relationship. That floored me because I was in shock. I never ever thought that he'd do something like that.
The perfect world that you'd build actually turned out not to be so perfect after all.
Yeah, and you know, the strange thing is that he'd had this relationship, and yet our relationship didn't change. So it was still
as
the
beautiful.
I love yous, the you looking gorgeous.
So you had no way of even thinking it could ever go wrong, ever?
No.
Actually?
No. I think that was the turning point, because that kind of betrayal, it goes deep. It touches a very deep place within your soul. And from then on, the trust was just not there, and
the brokenness of it.
The brokenness
of it, yes.
Yeah.
And the kids, what did that do to them? I mean, I would imagine for some people it's easy to keep that breaking separate, and the kids don't suspect anything. But I've also seen people where the kids are highly affected by it.
I must be honest with you, Bridget. I kept it away from the kids. We kept it very separate. It was a private matter. It was between me and him. life in the Newel household continued with that knowledge, and just maintaining their stability was just critical. It was crucial.
Your pain, your pillow, your tears into the pillow, you know, flowing and possibly feeling that helplessness. And so fast forward to today, I would imagine eventually the kids got to know. The kids got to know that the perfect world you'd built wasn't actually so perfect.
So there was a lot of stuff that contributed to the end of the relationship. He'd started a business in Natal, so we relocated back to Natal. In fact, I stayed in Johannesburg because I still had to maintain. It was the prime of my career, so I couldn't just up and leave my job to assist him or to be with him in his start of his business. But having said that, we had a good infrastructure in Natal. We moved our kids back there, he moved back there, we put them in schools. I commuted, and actually I commuted for 8 years. So I can't say that just him and what the betrayal that happened in our relationship contributed to the demise of our marriage. The distance too. The distance did as well. So I carry some of that responsibility.
Wow, it's interesting that you're saying that it's actually there's a big role he played in the breakdown, but so was your part as well. Because very often, as women, it's easier for ourselves to see ourselves as having been the one done wrong to. And as a result, it's the villain. Romeo was a villain. Somehow there's a duality. There's your space in it, and so is his. Today, being a single mother, what does it feel like?
Bridget, life as I knew it changed. That fairy tale and that stability, that home that we'd created for our kids, it ended. And as a single mom, I cannot say that it's been an easy journey. It's been a very tough journey. They were teenagers. No fault of their own. But I had to find that strength within me. And I must be honest, without God in my life, and just the knowledge of who I am in Christ has helped. The guilt was there, so there was a lot of guilt, even with the kids. They didn't know part of the story. So now that they are teenagers, it was easy to have a conversation with them and explain to them actually what actually happened and how we'd come to this place in our lives. This change. Growing up teenagers there's a lot of fun.
Yes, and you're a young, beautiful mom. So clearly there's that connection at least.
So we find a lot of fun in what we do as a family. But there's also some pain as well because they're exposed to so much.
And that is a father. It needs that male figure to help you.
And he's not present. So the kids have been with me for a bit since the divorce. They've stayed with me, and I think that the pain for them is just not having their dad around. Both parents, because I think for especially for a young boy, Caleb, he needs counsel. So I'd have to, so I'm still playing the role of mom and dad.
So very recently, I went through a process with my own children, who I'm a single mother too, and it's a process called psychotherapy, and children's psyche gets sort of looked at to see how a parent can complement and assist their children in becoming the maximum potential being that they can be. And with my daughter, I found that one of the elements there is that she's very hardworking, she's very confident, but she has also got self-doubt. And when I engaged the psychotherapist, she said to me that doubt and self-doubt is an area that only a father can embrace, can bring up the confidence for a girl child, which was very interesting because she said there's not anything that a mother can do. You can tell a girl child all day that they are beautiful, but a space of confidence is a father's space. When a father compliments a young girl and makes them feel unable to do anything in the world, that's the one area. I mean, there's areas where a mother fits in and compliments a child and gets them really ready for the journey. But there's other areas that happen to be for a father only.
Correct.
And so I would imagine that's a very difficult place for young Caleb, for the other children too, that mommy is doing what they can for us. She provides all that she can for us, as you do, but there's just that one place, things that you, with all your infinite wisdom, can never provide. And I believe that's one of your biggest challenges. Or any other woman out there watching us, that's their challenge.
I think I can relate, Bridget, and I think, I've shared the poem from Tehillah. Tehillah did a poem.
Yes.
And
sharing her pain through it. Yes,
and it speaks to just that, loving herself and the difficulty through the journey of not being able to love herself, yet within her own heart, she wants to love herself. And I think there's a big role for a dad to play there in building the confidence
of
around
a young girl. A young boy. Yeah. Well, part of the reason why we do this is to give other women encouragement, for them to realize that there's others like us out there, and particularly you can survive. But what are the 5 things that you would say? You spoke to one of them and it spoke to my heart immediately. The journey that you had to walk with God, because part of the whole thing is that without God you wouldn't have made it. But what are the, maybe let's say 4 other things that you would say to a woman out there today watching us to give them courage and inspiration?
I think for me it's just understanding the psyche of who we are as women. So what is the psychology of Bridget? What is the psychology of Robyn that makes us who we are? And God being the first part and of who
you are,
who I am, who you are. And that strength that makes us wake up every morning. It's I want to live. I'm tired of falling out of bed every morning.
Yes.
I can't do it anymore.
Particularly because you're young. It's you have yourself to still grow. So there's that duality, isn't it?
Yeah. And just trusting ourselves as well, in terms of the decisions that we make. And I must be honest, a lot of it has been about the kids and creating the stability and a home that they can thrive in, and a home full of love, starting with God and making God the center of our home. But at the same time, also understanding that Bridget and Robyn, we also need our lives, so making ourselves feel good about
time for ourselves,
bringing our whole selves into it, be it bringing ourselves to whole selves to work, be it bringing our whole selves back from work to be
to this home,
to be a mother and be there for the kids, and just constantly building them up and letting them know who they are.
That's fantastic. So if I'm to sum up what you just said, is a relationship with God is very important. I like the second thing that you said, understanding the psychology of you. That is so amazing. The other thing is trust. Trusting yourself, your instincts, your intuition. It's all in there, I guess, isn't it?
It is in
that
there.
We have it in ourselves to have some wisdom and perhaps it's to just have the confidence and trust in that. Then you spoke about having time for yourself.
Having time for yourself.
Understand that you also need to be kind and gentle with yourself in the process.
Correct.
You can only do so much, you know. The fourth one that you said is such a beautiful thing, that making them understand who they are, but understanding, I think if I want to build on that, that for them to be able to explore who they are in the safety of being comforted, provided for and guided by you.
Yeah, and I think, Bridget, irrespective of how you find yourself being a single mom, in my case it's through divorce, it can be breaking, so it can break you down. But the challenge is not to stay down. You embrace your tears for a time and a season, and time is our biggest healing. Therapy has been marvelous for me, be it you find therapy in your loved ones, your workplace, be it through clinical psychology, just to help you get to that place of wholeness again.
Yes, rebuilding yourself again. Which is a very difficult thing, but it marks success. It marks a certain victory. Being able to say, I like it. You just said, allowing yourself to break, but not allowing yourself to stay down. That is a profound thing. I think I'll take that with me as well. Robyn, thank you. I know it's been a very deep conversation, but this is what this platform is about, having deep and meaningful conversations amongst women, with the understanding and hope that through my pain, through your pain, even through your victory, another woman can learn so much.
Yeah, thank you, Bridget. I really appreciate you inviting me today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Well, that's it for us today. I think we take so much for granted, that so much is expected of us to be grown up all the time, to always go back to the reference board, the fairy tale book. We don't have to. We evolve, and we will break, particularly through a journey of realizing that Romeo isn't really Romeo. The biggest thing to do, like Robyn said, is to break, allow yourself the time, give yourself permission to be hurt, but not to stay down, to find a way to rebuild yourself again and come together. And that's what I wish for you out there. My sister, my friend, my daughter, until we see each other again. Thank you.